personally, as a veteran and someone who's deployed in Afghanistan, someone that really believes in my country. I mean, I come from a military background. My parents are both military. My brother's currently serving right now. I feel like it's a slap in the face.
All right. So first of all, you work for the VA. What do you do at the VA?
So I actually work in infectious diseases.
Okay. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so I am actually the administrative officer for that department, and I actually run all the data reports when it comes to any kind of infectious disease, whether it's COVID, tuberculosis, polio, TB, what else? Cotties, CLAPSIes. So anything that's like globally infectious or individual infectious, I pretty much do. I mean, that also includes like STIs and things like that. So my job is I send the reports, like obviously our population are veterans, right? So that's where most of our data. We do get information from the state and the CDC, so we work with both of them.
And then you have a total of 15 years in federal service. What were you doing before?
I was in the military for 10 years.
Wow, that's amazing. What were you doing in the military?
So I joined as a cable communication installer, which is just really comms. But so I have kind of like a little bit of everything. So
yeah, that's what it sounds like. So are you a vet yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so is that what kind of led you to your job at the VA?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I'm sure you have tons of stories about your time in Iraq and all of that craziness there.
Good and bad. I helped build an orphanage in Iraq, so I was in the villages and stuff with the people. I actually fell in love with the people themselves. I mean, yes, their culture is different, but what I learned over there was they're no different from us. They want the same things. They want to raise their family, take care of themselves, be productive members of society. They just practice differently. Yes, they have to wear, certain clothing and stuff like that. But in my experience, now I don't know if this is everybody's, because I know depending on what part of the country you're in, they really love Americans. I mean, I'll never forget one of the kids pulled out their little cell phone and started playing 50 Cent. And I was like, what is happening?
Wow.
But they loved it. I mean, I wrote to the Teeny Beanie Company, and they donated 500 teeny babies that we gave to the orphanage.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. So you sound like kind of a humanitarian at heart. You love helping people.
Absolutely.
So then how has Trump affected your job? He's cutting veterans benefits. He's stopping humanitarian assistance. How does that make you feel, and how is Trump affecting your work?
So I'll go with how it makes me feel. Personally, as a veteran and someone who's deployed in Afghanistan, someone that really believes in my country. I mean, I come from a military background. My parents are both military. My brother's currently serving right now. I feel like it's a slap in the face. I mean, truly, I just feel it's a slap in the face to my service. I feel like my injuries I incurred in combat, that the pain that I've had since I've returned home, all those sacrifices, and I'm not complaining. Don't take that as complaining. I'm taking that as I went through a lot of trauma while I was in the military. I actually got medically discharged. That's why I only did 10 years. I would have done the 20, but unfortunately, there was just too much that I wasn't able to stay in anymore.
Yeah.
And I would do it all over again. So I don't take that, my sacrifice, as, whatever, but just personally, it's a slap in the face. And it's even worse being a female because of how their they're doing just the DEI stuff, right? Just personally, it's a slap in the face. And it's even worse being a female because of how they're doing just the DEI stuff, right? This training that we have to do, it's to train me to train the staff. So this is something that I will have to do every quarter. And initially, the core of the course is to bridge the gap between veterans and civilians, right? We're going to be, the class that we were in, we have to teach, military culture, history, stigmas, just all the things that, maybe the everyday civilian doesn't quite understand. And when you work at the VA, that is our population, right? So if you have civilians that work, they don't always understand, you know what I mean? Like, if we hear a certain noise and we duck down, like, why is that our reaction, right? Yeah. Well, it depends, right? So this program they created, it's really just to bridge that gap. And what really set me off in the class, so the slide presentation that we have to use, right? We got to the historical parts, and we ended up asking toward the ends of the course because we weren't sure why. But there was one bullet that had talked very small about segregation in the military. Segregation was very big up until really the 50s into Vietnam, right? So I thought that was really strange. It was just a bullet point. So then they fast forward to women, right? One slide. And it was the evolution of women. So when we were talking to the gentlemen that were teaching the class, they literally told us, because someone asked, hey, why is there this little bit, and it's significant, right? Because if you look at the Korean veterans that come in and the Vietnam veterans, what did they deal with? A lot of the ones that were minorities dealt with the racism back then. So that's their experience. That's our population we still serve. I mean, they're slowly dying out, but we still have that population. We still have World War II veterans. Not many, but they're still around. So we're, how do we bridge the gap when you're not actually reaching out to the minorities? So the trainers had told us that just for to keep the one slide about females in the military, they had to fight for it.
Really?
Because, yes, they said they actually pulled a lot of slides in there that they felt was considered DEI.
Oh, no.
Now, everything in this PowerPoint, I mean, obviously I didn't see the original one, but my assumption is there was nothing inappropriate at all. It was just historical history, stereotypes, whatever. So anything that I felt like they thought was too DEI, they just removed.
Wow.
And, they were like, we're, trying to, we do what we can, but they did tell us, when we do the training, we can absolutely talk about those other things. We just can't have it in the PowerPoint.
Oh, goodness.
Because, yeah. And then as a female veteran, when they started stripping all the websites of the military history, I was losing my shit. I actually ended up in a very bad depression. Because, I have battle buddies of all backgrounds, from all races, and to disgrace us that made these accomplishments, because it just really feels like they just want to tell the story of the white man in the military. They don't want to tell the story of the women, of the minorities, of the people that were LGBTQ. You know what I mean? So I will tell you, it has affected me in the last 6 months a lot. I've had a lot of depression. I've had to increase on my medicines because, going into work, we see it getting stripped. I mean, in February, I remember we were having to take down things that they consider DEI off the walls. I am on a committee for employee engagement, and we would a lot of times work with other committees to do events, right? So one of the events we used to do was when Pride came around, we would go down to Pride in our area downtown, and we would try to enroll veterans that might be in that community. We were not allowed to go this year. We were forbidden to go.
Yeah.
But, LGBTQ, they've always been in the military, just like women have always been in the military, just like minorities, from the beginning of time, all of us have been in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so disheartening just to see. I feel like they're trying to create a narrative of history that is not outside a certain realm.
Yeah. That's really disappointing to hear, and that's absolutely a slap in the face to you, so disrespectful to you and your service and everybody else that you worked with at your job in the VA, as well as, during your time in service in the military. That's so incredibly disrespectful. What else are you seeing in the Trump administration besides the DEI?
So, Doge did actually come down.
Okay.
They canceled a ton of our contracts.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest ones was that we would give rides to veterans to get to their appointments.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that contract anymore. So, and I will tell you, we're not supposed to do this, but I have seen with my own eyes, doctors and some nurses offer to pay for rides for their patients.
Wow.
Out of their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Do we not see them? Do we
Yeah.
not try to get them home? Like, what do we do? Like, what do you do in that situation? We can't just leave them outside.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these guys don't have a good family support, so I have seen that. The other one that really pisses me off right now is before, when the CDC used to have a board on their website.
Mm-hmm.
That board would show all the diseases, the outbreaks. You could literally, even as a citizen, go onto the CDC website and look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could see where polio, whatever infectious disease. Well, when Trump and them got in, they removed that board completely. It's not even up anymore. For us, all the reports that I was sending to the CDC are no longer going up. They're just sitting in our database. They're like intentionally not wanting to know or track the diseases. So if you watch the news and you hear about the different outbreaks, like measles, like a big one right now, it's only because private hospitals are reporting it to the media.
Oh.
This is not coming from the CDC. This is not coming from us sending our reports.
Mm-hmm.
And about a month ago, there's an infectious disease that's killed 50 people, and we don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you where and everything, but this is very concerning because this could be another global pandemic in the long run. We just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're not talking to the CDC, if we're not talking to the WHO, we're not getting critical information within like a sensitive time frame, I feel like.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say like that 100%, but I'm very logical in the sense that we stopped sending our reports. We're literally just putting it in our systems, and that's it. Because I was sending consistently these reports up.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like they don't want them. Like, we got told to stop sending them. And I was like, what is happening? Like, this could kill people.
Yeah.
I feel.
Absolutely. That's a serious public health danger. So you said that there's a disease that is on the rise, that's on the precipice of a potential pandemic that we're just not reporting on?
It could be. We don't know.
Uh-huh.
It's something, all I know is from what the data that I saw, is about 50 people have mysteriously died.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sure what it is.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if we don't figure it out, right, it could possibly turn into something. It may not, but it's just a mysterious virus. We don't know what it is at the moment.
Okay. Wow. So, has Doge cut your staffing?
Oh, yeah. So the other thing is, we've lost a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
We are not one of the bigger VAs. We're, I guess I would say, like, medium size.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we had a shit ton of staff before. Now, we were already short-staffed prior to this. like, but it was in a sense like sustainable in a weird way. Like we were making it. Now that the people that took the DRP and the retirement,
yeah, Vera,
all those jobs have got put on us. So I've actually taken on 5 additional duties since people have left.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think people understand, like, the job has to get done regardless. Mm-hmm. We don't get extra pay for it. And now they are really cutting us from working overtime. Mm-hmm. So how are we supposed to get all this work done and you're not even wanting to do overtime for us? Mm-hmm. The only people they're allowing to do overtime really right now is, like, the doctors and the nurses, right? But the rest of us, we are not really allowed to be doing it, or they're making it very hard to do it, but we're getting more work. So I just don't, I've been very stressed out. My work is getting done, but it's like at the expense of me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it seems like every couple weeks another thing gets added to my plate. And I just don't know if they continuously do this, if I'm going to be hanging in. Since from March till next month, we have lost 15 nurses and physicians.
Wow.
In just our department.
Mm-hmm.
So we are the specialty clinics. So that would include clinics like cardiology, hematology. It's also considered a team. Mm-hmm. We have 2 more leaving next month. So we have had to close a shit ton of clinics. Mm-hmm. And our wait times are going skyrocketing. Most of our clinics were within the 30 days by law, right? Mm-hmm. But we are, and actually our hospital was in the top 10 in the VA nation. Mm-hmm. We are now, and this was in December, we are now falling behind.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is causing issues with patient care, significantly. One of the biggest issues is we don't have enough staff to answer the phones. Mm-hmm. So the patients, the biggest complaints we're getting is nobody answers phones, but we don't have anybody. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really hard when you remove so many people, and a lot of people took the retirement and the, DRP, they were out, and I will tell you, speaking with the ones that were leaving, was because they literally told me, like, they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with what is happening. And that is why they chose to leave. Most of them, not all of them, but I would say about 85% were leaving for just that reason. The other thing is our students, right? A lot of our students have visa holders. Mm-hmm. And we have had a really hard time with Homeland Security and getting their clearances. Like, they are making it so significantly hard. Now, these students, they're either residents or fellows. And these kids, I shouldn't call them kids, but these students, they actually see patients. Mm-hmm. So they help see patients. So we have more clinics open because of them. Mm-hmm. You'll have your attending physician, and they might have 5 residents or fellows that they, but they will actually see the patients. Mm-hmm. And then they report to the physician and whatever. But that's part of the training, right? Because they're trying to be doctors. So our resident specifically, he is from Sudan. So I don't know if you remember, probably about a month or so ago, Sudan got put on the list that they wanted to revoke. Mm-hmm. So he's been freaking out. He actually had to he had to check into Homeland Security for the first time since he started his, come over to the States and schooling. He did get asylum here, and then he got his student visa. So when he had to go check into Homeland Security, bring all his documents, and they told him when he left, what he told me was they told him to not go too far. To me, that sounds like a threat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a doctor, like a doctor in training.
Yeah.
And he is the kindest, sweetest soul I have ever, got the opportunity to work with. So, that's really heartbreaking. And I will tell you the conversation when we found out he had to go home in security. I literally told him, scrub your social media, scrub your phone. Do not have anything on there just because what I had seen in the news and stuff about them going through people's phones. I was like, I don't know his political stance, but I'm pretty sure he's on the same page with me just by certain conversations. So I just told him just make sure, and he was supposed to go see his family to visit. So he was supposed to go, overseas. Our attending actually pulled him aside and said, I don't recommend you leave the country right now because you might not come back.
Yeah.
So he ended up having to cancel his trip to go visit his family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is impacting so many levels, and the stress, you can just feel it in the hallway. I mean, and the stress, you can just feel it in the hallway. I mean, you really can, and we've had a few patients be very nasty to us because the rhetoric of we don't work. Literally had gotten an elevator with a patient, was talking to my coworker, and she's like, yeah, I'm running 5 minutes behind. She's just kind of telling me about it. She's like, I can't believe I'm, late. And she wasn't late. It was literally 5 minutes.
Yeah.
She doesn't start clinic to an hour after she starts the job, because normally that's when she does her paperwork, things like that before she goes into clinic. So it's not like she was late for clinic or anything, but the veteran overheard the conversation, and he was like, yeah, you all are lazy, just making just the talking points of federal workers.
Yeah.
The other big issue that I saw was they had sent out a warno. So if you don't know what a warno is, it's like a warning out because we have a section in the hospital that's called home-based primary care. So essentially is that doctors, nurses, and etc., depending on what they need, social workers, they will actually go to veterans' home for care. When they do those home visits, they do drive government vehicles. Well, apparently a few people were getting attacked by the public in their federal vehicles. So they just pretty much sent out an email saying, hey, well, not an email, it was in a meeting we had with the whole hospital, and it was an operational update, and they were just like, just be aware of your surroundings. We've had a couple incidents of those who are in home-based primary care getting attacked in public, and it was when they were in the government car, so I guess they were targeted. I don't know the full story, but that was reported. Wow. So we were able to, just be around our surroundings.
Wow. So with all the Doge cuts and lots of your coworkers choosing to leave because of Vera or taking the DRP, why did you decide to stay?
Because I love my job. At the end of the day, I love my job. I love the veterans. We are definitely a different breed of people. So I was not, they were going to have to let me go. I was not going to go. So, plus I have responsibilities. I have a daughter, I have bills, things like that. But at the end of the day, I love my job. I have a phenomenal team. I love our patients. I love what I do, and I'm passionate about it. And I'm willing to endure the suck, but it's not easy.
Yeah. So when you meet patients like that who have this rhetoric that they're talking about, federal workers are lazy, blah, 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 what do you do in those situations?
I don't say anything. I'm not allowed to.
Okay.
I keep quiet, or I say, I'm sorry, sir, and I'll just try to get out the situation, because at the end of the day, we are just not allowed to say anything. So, I mean, there's nothing that we can do either.
But that has to be frustrating.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard because I got them out. So I would really love to like snap back, and it's hard because there's been a few times when you walk into the main doors, they have the three photos, Trump and Vance and then the VA secretary dude, and people will be up there taking pictures with it. Now I can't hide my facial expressions, but those are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I'm very disgusted, and I think I'm more disgusted with veterans about it because we uphold an oath, right? So even just federal employees, we say the same oath that we said in the military. Yeah. Literally the same thing. And I just feel like the Constitution is just getting ripped to shreds. I feel like cruelty is the point, And the crazy part is, how, like, now obviously I can't speak on the detentions and stuff like that, but from what I'm reading and seeing in the media and, news outlets, it's like they're horrible conditions.
Yeah.
When I had to help escort, prisoners or people that, in the military, when I had to do that, we were never allowed to abuse them. Like, you can get court-martialed if you did that shit. And the biggest reason why was because that blow up in Guantanamo Bay, right? All the abuse that they were doing out there. Like, I can't remember what year that was, but that had happened, I believe, before I even joined, because that was, like, early 2000s. But, yeah, you get court-martialed for that shit. You cannot, no, it could be a legitimate terrorist in your custody, and you can't abuse them. Yeah. But yeah, you get court-martialed for that shit. You cannot, no, it could be a legitimate terrorist in your custody, and you can't abuse them. Yeah. They're still humans. We still had to provide medical care for them, clothing, food, all the necessities. And so I sit here and I see these reports and I see the inhumanity, and I just look like, had I done that, and I'm in the military, right? I'm dealing with bad people sometimes, and we weren't even allowed to do that. We could go to freaking jail.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't understand how they're getting away with this. Like, they're federal employees. How are they not going to jail with the abuse?
Yeah.
And the mistreatment? Like, I don't understand it. And it's like, sometimes I've always felt like the military is held to like a higher standard, but I just feel like that should be across the board, whether it's federal jobs or police officers, sheriffs, whatever the case may be. We should all be held at that standard. So,
yeah. So I just have a couple more questions for you. So it sounds like the return to office, to me, it sounds like in your position that really hasn't affected you. Has it?
Oh, so luckily I was already in the office. I did have telework once a week. So they took that away, which was hard because those were the days I was able to catch up on everything because everybody knocks on my door. So like I use those days like one day a week just to catch up on everything.
Yeah.
But with all the other coworkers that had to come back, we have no room. They have people like rotating offices. Like, we just have no space. So it was really tough trying to bring everybody back. And we still have people that don't have offices. They're kind of get put in the hallways and stuff.
Yeah.
Or conference rooms or, things that, like, you would not normally be in. So we're still trying to work on that. But everybody is back now.
I think that's such a misconception that if you're teleworking then or remote working then you're being lazy, but you're saying here that you used your telework day to catch up on work because people when you were in the office were knocking on your doors trying to chit chat with you.
Yeah, patients knock on my door all the time because they get lost. Can't tell you how many times I open my door and have to walk a patient to a clinic because they get lost.
Yeah. So now you have to spend more time talking to people and helping people, navigating where to go and all that stuff, and you're behind on work. And now you have even more work, 5 other people's jobs to do, so you're falling even more behind. Yeah. That's tough.
I mean, my reports, I'm able to get on time, but yeah, there are certain things that are getting to the wayside. Like one project I was given, I'm going through records, and we're going through all the deceased files right now, because we're trying to make sure everything's like electronic. So, I have to go through the process, like by federal law, we have to disposition and things like that. And that project has been put aside because I just can't. It's not like critical because they are deceased. We have the files. If they need them, we can get them. But the whole point of me doing the project was we're trying to get rid of paper at the end of the day. We're trying to be as less paper because there's not enough space to hold it all.
Yeah. Okay, so last question for you. Despite everything you have said, is there any positive that you feel has come out of the Trump administration 2.0?
No.
Nothing.
Not at all. I'm very concerned with even the benefits, for us. I'm afraid because my uncle just got a letter. They're trying to take his benefits away. Vietnam vet.
Wow.
And that's scary. So I'm hoping he can fight that. But the VBA, they got an email where the Trump administration is not allowing lawyers talk to the VBA, which is the benefits department.
Wow.
So, sometimes when veterans are fighting for their benefits, sometimes it gets to a point where they have to hire a lawyer that can fight on their behalf to get what they deserve, right? Their disability and stuff like that. So as of right now, they're not allowed to talk to those lawyers. And I guess the goal is, when I talked to someone in VBA, they said they want to pick a political appointee. And to me, like, when it comes to disability, like for veterans, like it's monstrous, right? They have to understand all the laws and the rules and the medical, issues that come along with it. And now you want to take lawyers out the way and have a political appointee make those decisions to determine if a veteran is worthy or not, or deserves it or not. I don't think that's okay. Like, I don't think it's going to be a good idea. Because it's already hard now. Some of us have to fight. I'm still fighting for my stuff. I have a traumatic brain injury. I'm still fighting to get that recognized. So, to take that piece away from people, it's just so heartening. But I don't think anything's good. It is creating a very hostile work environment. They've sent emails wanting us to report people, and then the whole Christian, if something's against Christians, like, we have to report it. But it's like, what do you consider? And then a lot of our doctors, to be honest, are Muslim. So it's like, and I will tell you, some of these veterans are not nice to them, and they're one of the sweetest people. Just because of their culture. So I think it's created a lot of hatred and hostility.
Yikes. So, are there any last comments or thoughts that you want to share with me?
I don't know. Just I hope people start seeing what's really happening. But I am afraid, the one thing I am afraid is if we keep going this trajectory, I feel like the VA will crumble. And it's not going to be good because, if the VA collapses, that means veterans will have to go out in the public or private sector. And you think wait times are long now? Just wait when you have to compete with everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and then with our hospital specifically, we're competing for resources because they cut so many grants.
Yeah.
So other hospitals in our area trying to get things
Mm-hmm.
because they cut stuff. And unfortunately, because we're the VA, we're kind of like the bottom of the totem pole because we don't pay the way private sectors play, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
We're cheap.
Yeah.
So we're not always going to get the best stuff just because it's government, right?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest fear is it's going to collapse and then there's just going to be a lot more suicides. We've actually had 2 attempts on our lot.
Mm.
We haven't had any since I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
We've had 2 in the last couple months.
Wow.
So I can't say exactly why they did because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it just seems like the timing. And I wouldn't be surprised if they lost their doctor.
Yeah.
Because a couple of the patients had mentioned that they lost their doctors and they were really upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I really, really appreciate you talking to me about this.
And I appreciate you getting it out.
It was a pleasure speaking with you. I hope you have a good night and good luck on Friday.
You too. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.